Gakuya here and
Congratulations.
Thank you. And Gakuya was very confident about the win.
I told him there is no 50-50.
Yeah. Mutambo, on the other hand, and I don't know why, probably that's why he's late for the show.
He will come.
He wasn't there. But even as you give your analysis of what happened there, it is this guard the vote move that we're discussing now, that it would appear that was the biggest success or something that worked for the people of Olkalau. Do you see this being replicated across and other constituencies in 2027? And do you feel, because now they say it is a concern, especially on the integrity of our IBC, if at all voters decide that this is what we're going to do?
So thank you very much. One, I want to congratulate Governor Gakuya for the emphatic win, which I think he was right in saying that they're going to mop the floor. They actually did it. Secondly, I think when you talk about guard the vote move, it's not the first time we're seeing such a thing. And it's very common and popular during nominations and during, when I talk nomination about party primaries, as well as during these by-elections, because you are having an election within a concentrated area or within 1 or 2 spots, not mass elections that we do across all polling stations, 42,000 or whatever they are in this particular country. So guard the vote move come from apprehension, a sense of feeling that the vote may not be free and fair, which I feel it's a very unfortunate situation for our republic, because I confidently thought we had already crossed that Rubicon. We've not had issues of suspicion as to ballot stuffing and what have you. And that's why I'm saying it's a phenomenon very common with party primaries. Because for party primaries, they are not conducted by IEBC. And party primaries are run by individual parties, of which they lack the whatever the know-how, not even the know-how, the infrastructure and logistics to guarantee absolute fairness in a vote. I think I've seen movement led by UDA. UDA has successfully conducted party primaries. If I look at the last 2 years, the by-elections that UDA has participated in its own party primaries, it has been free-flowing. They have succeeded to digitize their processes. For example, I can remember Baringo senatorial election. If you look at MP positions for the party primaries in Beira, even in Olkalau itself, so UDA has succeeded. I hope that can be a trend, because if the moment parties succeed to do their party primaries, even DCP I think kind of did well in Olkalau party primaries. So if that happens, then the guard the vote movement no longer becomes a concern. Secondly, for by-elections, because of the nature of the competition, and for by-elections, because it is the time when a government in office is able to test its more or less its waters in various areas. Let me use, for example, Mount Kenya becomes a critical flashpoint because it is increasingly turning out to be an area of concern for the ruling regime. And at the same time, you have an emerging opposition within Mount Kenya. And I think why I kept saying Olkalau is a significant test is because it was the first test where you had DCP facing UDA within Mount Kenya, where the fight is between UDA and DCP. So you would understand the apprehension that now preceded this aspect of guard the vote movement. Number two, there was cases of due to the intense competition and intrigues that led to the by-election, you had either party issuing threats, issuing more or less like loaded statements that if we don't see, we do. So that apprehension was a build-up of what had happened in the past 1 month. So that becomes a concern, and I don't think IEBC should just let it pass, because as we gear towards party primaries, you will see that as a major concern. If party primaries will be done in a particular, and I've been seeing movement. If you look back since 2007, party primaries have always been chaotic. If you remember 2002, when NAC did its first party primaries, you know, NAC was amalgamation of anyone and everyone. It was so chaotic. Tickets were being thrown over the window. Elections could only be done for 2 hours, 3 hours. So there has been a significant movement towards the ODM. Elections were always chaotic since 2007. But subsequently, you've even seen ODM itself trying, more or less transitioning away from the chaos and all that. So I feel the guard the vote movement is basically a reaction to a problem. So if you deal with the root problem, which in this case is a sense of a guaranteed process, a sense of an objective, free, fair process, I don't think you'll have to guard the vote. So that in Olkalau, as it has been seen, what I feel, and I think I mentioned in this panel, I don't think it's still possible to rig elections in Kenya. The idea of rigging elections is
There's a lot of apprehension that would...
That's what I'm saying. It is apprehension, and you'd understand where it's coming from. If there's been cases of violence and intimidation and all that leading to the vote, that's what you expect. But as I feel, once we firmly rule and we put it into action in the last election, that the vote that counts is the one that has been declared in the polling station and pasted. For me, I think that's an assurance of some kind. So that I saw the Guard the Vote movement was just trying to ride on this aspect that as long as it is declared at the polling station. Yes. So I feel the moment we have all polling stations conducting elections, you will not need the idea of Guard the Vote movement. It will be a case of, are we done the voting? Have the agents been given a chance? Because even if you look at what happened in Okalau, no party agents were roughed up, no observers were refused entrance, media was there. That was a plus. So that this idea of Guard the Vote was basically outside the polling station. It was a case of citizens versus...
It could happen again next year at the general election?
I don't think so. It may happen during the party primaries. For the general election, no, everyone is fighting for his seat, from MCA to governor to president. So everyone will be focused on, let me even get my voters to come vote.
It's a concern there by IEBC, why IEBC should be worried by citizens' Guard the Vote move. But now let's go back to this win by the DCP. Now, for the very first time, DCP becomes a parliamentary party. It will have its very first